Thanks, Sridhar, for taking your time out for GWFM International Summit 2021. Yesterday, we had a goal of time with a bunch of speakers and panel discussions and keynote speeches, and also the worldwide audience presence. And today, day two is another great opportunity for us to have keynote speeches, and also there's one roundtable. However, we have International WFM Professionals Day celebration today, and evening we have a showcase from 13 companies require your presence over there. So without delay, I take this pride to introduce Sridhar. Sridhar is pretty well known in the market with his presence and for his knowledge and kind of confidence. Sridhar is going to talk about the new agenda of WFM is operational excellence or cost optimization or customer experience. The new adoption, innovative and out-of-box thinking. Sridhar comes with close to 3 decades of experience, spent time in organizations and worked in sectors like BFSI, healthcare, retail, IT, travel, hospitality, education, utilities, and trade finance, real estate, and media, and also telecom industries, and also multiple domains. Sridhar is known for customer experience. Now, how WFM folks can create customer experience, something that is need for the hour. And when we were discussing that, yes, we're going to talk something no one has talked about it in the market, right? Yesterday we talked about how WFM professionals should become an influencer. Now, like customer experience is one thing that is very important as part of the influencers. So Sridhar is known for resolving long-standing problems and improved operational efficiency and designing and implementing transformation, customer-centric and employee-enabled practices for the enterprises. So without much delay, I invite Sridhar to have his very interesting topic to have, and great to have you with us, Sridhar, again today. And yesterday you have been as an attendee. Good to have you with us again in this year. And with this, I hand over the control, allow the presenter access.
All right. Hi, guys. That was fun. The usual that happens. I would like to start with a thanks to everybody, who have supported in my journey of customer experience over the years. I would say that I'm over the last 25 years, actually, right? And I would say I'm still graduating in this whole fundamental called customer experience for all practical purposes. I say graduation, just not complete yet, because I still see something else new that keeps coming out of it. I've progressed over the years. Today the pink collar industry, which only has customer experience as the anchor, as a key today, and it's been delivered from wherever it was never imagined. If you look at it today, the industry's, customer experience was the front line in the front office when I started. It still is when you look at the rest of the industry. This industry is about 243 billion at the moment. And I mean front and back office, front, back, mid office, which primarily is with customer interactions, which is where workforce seems to have a base in, and it's going to be about 336 billion, even if you ask a Everest or a Forrester or anybody. So while we see that the global business was in a state of flux when COVID hit us, the customer expectations have actually evolved for real-time, personalized, omni-channel, and I'll speak more about what the customer expects and how WFM is related to it. Tech has actually had to innovate, and adapt to an accelerated pace with large-scale adoption never envisaged. Murali was speaking about it just prior to me, and technology really got an impetus while all this was happening currently. The reality is, we are faced with uncertain recovery from global recession. compounded by the sensitive geopolitical environment of protectionism and the trade wars that are at play. The focus on risk management has never been higher. I believe every one of us felt that there are uncertain times that we've had when we started, and uncertain times with a certain vision for elevated customer experience. The the reality is still the same for people first, uh, whether customers or employees, which is thoroughly backed by tech stack, enriching every experience by employee to customer to be enjoyable. Uh, it is in order to be this for this to be enjoyable, we need to transform the workforce way to manage a transaction, to delivering experience for assurance of employee and customer experience. Why am I speaking about experience and how did this experience become so critical? If I build a world-class product, I should be through the gate. If I focus on the best-in-class products, I should survive. What changed for experience to become bigger than the product? The disruptive shift in the marketplace happened silently. It was no single individual or company that can hold any kind of sole claim on this change. It is here to stay for perpetuity. It's a digital age without a sunset, as written there. We all did this together. Customer actually holds the power today, not the sellers. Mankind gifted itself the World Wide Web. Uh, Now the customer chooses at their fingertips. They choose to educate themselves, to choose as they desire, to purchase at will on their own, to influence and be influenced. They make or break brands. The journey of a brand from recognition or recall to having a preference for a brand to insistence, better known as brand loyalty, is not just about visual or audible anymore, where it has truly gone digital and virtual. The key for any brand to survive today is CX. The maturity is now in customer experience with all terms we used to focus on customers like customer service, customer journey map, uh, customer relationship management, customer lifecycle management, relegated to the actual experience at every instance or interaction. Workforce has been supporting that whole bit till date. Businesses are driven to shift primarily led on customer experience. It's already happening. And I'm sure you are aware that we've had companies suffering huge losses, including some going bust purely on the experience or a single instance too. It is not just about a person to person service, in person or over the phone or any other contact channel. We've got stuff happening. Uh, we'll speak more about VR and, autonomous bots, but it is not the mind blowing performance of a product. It is the augmented reality of experience associated with it across the entire customer journey, every touch point, proactive or reactive. The experience is not just for an employee. The customer, however, partners, the, and society too. Workforce used to help deliver that service. Workforce planned that service. Workforce, uh, you know, led that outcome performance. Today, we have we have complex business digital environments, uh, depending on a workforce that we call millennials, with customers demanding more and more. Some technologies that really changed over the last 1 year. If you look at voice recognition, McDonald's and Starbucks invested into voice-based ordering. There are banks that have introduced facial recognition for touchless ATM service. Uh, Ultraleap uh, offered a touch-free operation to enable companies to use a camera module for gesture monitoring. Digital twins, every one of us is dealing with them today. Uh, NHS is delivering COVID kits through drones. Uh, there are and there's just so many of them happening today. There is a whole new brand recalibration happening, and it's redefining that whole process. We've got companies like Ford partnered with 3M and G to build ventilators, respirators, stuff like that. The Bajaj Group sent out "No one will lose their job" kind of boosting morale through this. It was total disruption. Now, having said that, I want to move quickly on workforce and CX and why. Today, we are not just about doing an interaction. It is a different economy. It's an experience economy. Whether it is proactive, preemptive, everybody wants it personalized, intuitive. Everybody, and we all try to drive zero contact resolution today. We don't want an interaction happening. We want to drive ZCR. Today's ambassadors, today's enablers are actually the employees and the bots who actually interact with the customer, and they are your ambassadors of experience. You know, I love what Angela Ahrens from Apple said. In order to build a relationship with your customer, you need to build one with your employees first, and that's where the whole point is. Workforce was always about the people. This is the progression that really happened. Workforce used to look after catering to the workforce management, which is building on reporting intelligence to start with, forecasting, demand scheduling, real-time management. You know, the left box pretty much covers everything that workforce does today, including, you know, managing automated quality monitoring systems, voice of employee. And if I really look at it, the other side, which is the customer side, it is transformation, which is more to do with your, you know, natural language processing, IVRs coming into play, language translators, so that we can have universal agents, chat bots, email bots. Where does it? The base is same. While we say the base is same, if you look at the right side, both transformation and workforce work on right people, right skills, right time, right cost, right plan and tools, which is the ethos for workforce management. Workforce used to focus on the workforce, but today the customer has become more important, which I just shared on how and why. And there is a transformation that's happened. WFM, WFO, WEM, and I, for the last 10 years, have kept on moving towards a transformation window, because you end up deciding what bots you want. You end up deciding which demand do I deflect. You end up deciding what is it that's going to make the customer experience better, and how do I keep my employee motivated to deliver that customer experience. Having said that, I actually steal something from a guy called Simon from Nemenska. He said, experience is everything and everything is experience. Are you ready is the question. Are you, as workforce folks who are there to deliver the business SLAs through the planning, delivering to what's required? We as a business will cease to exist if this does not become your prime business driver. Every interaction is an opportunity for positive word of mouth publicity. It drives the influencers, pushing the influence to consume and consume old and new money to truly take your top line up. Customer delight at every opportunity, human or digital, that is only possible through transformation of the goals workforce management has and needs to deliver to. I intentionally kept this talks short and sweet. The reason is I would love to hear more and love to understand if people believe this is the way it is happening, or are you experiencing the same? And feel free to add, feel free to jump in. It's completely open for everybody now. Shiva, do we have any questions, or does anybody want to ask anything?
We'll check if there are any questions, Sridhar.
Did that make sense in any way? I mean, Shiva, Partha, did that link back to what we're doing, what we are talking about?
Perfect, Sri.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at WFM, now looking at as customer experience perspective is very essential now. We're not just doing the job of fulfillment or an optimization or just working on the operations.
I just wanted to share the perspective. Last time around, I expanded that horizon. This time around, I wanted to say what really should be the goal, because nothing else really matters.
True, very true.
Yeah, there's one question, Sridhar. How do we drive the customer experience perspective from, I mean, as a WFM professional, maybe, one example that if you want to share, that how they can really, simplify understanding the WFM, professionals to create kind of experience. We are talking about, employee experience, or, the engineers experience or agents experience, and also the overall customer experience and stakeholder experience, right? So if you just share one or two examples that how they can really adopt this as a model.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you look at workforce management, what is the first thing that workforce management really does? It looks at forecasting what is the interaction that we are looking at coming in. Is that right? And how do we service that interaction touch point, or how do
Yes.
I service a workload if it's a queue, if it's back office? How do I schedule people at a store if that's the footfalls that I need to cater to? And why are the people coming in? Is the demand driving? Demand driver, that's the whole point, right?
Right.
In the in every business, there is a customer. And we speak about, if I look at a life cycle for a customer, there is a learn phase or a awareness phase. There is a purchase phase or a buy phase. Then there is a use phase, which is when they actually are using it and they need support. And then there is if it's a pay or a collect kind of a phase where, it's either regular payments or if it's, something that's gone delinquent. And of course, when people leave, even when they leave today, we don't want that experience of leaving to be such that the person doesn't come back. Now, all the demand is going to come from this as far as workload is concerned. Uh, does that help? That's first stage. Second stage, when you are forecasting that demand, would you want a customer to wait when he is learning? The sale doesn't happen by elongating it. The sale happens by making it easy, quick, and close. The enablement that you do for a sale, whether it's through a digital lever, whether it's through availability of an agent, whether it's through the right inputs going in saying, if my business is not growing, the workforce actually gives an input saying, hey, I'm not getting any new leads as such. No new leads, there's no growth. So it gives a direction. So you will end up using different levers to support it. It could be an agent assist that you would want to deploy. It could be a knowledge management tool that you want to deploy to enable the agent to close that fast. You want to lower the AHTs, but those AHTs are lowered for what purpose? Do I expand my horizon and think why I need to look at that? Do I look at the speech and text analytics to understand what's really happening? Why do I lose people in the learn phase? And when they're buying, also from a channel standpoint, today we all want to move to a universal agent. I'm trying to build the whole picture here. Do I really need a separate set of agents to address WhatsApp, social, a separate set of agents for async chat or live chat or email and voice and video? Or do I create a platform where agents are just getting one screen? It's an integrated screen that they get. And from a workforce standpoint, it's important for me on how the agent works, how the agent is enabled to empower to deal with the customer. So there I have to start thinking about how do I do a 360-degree view for the agent to service any of the channels, at the same time reduce my time that I take to really close on an interaction. If I look at customers are calling in purely for something so simple as maybe they've lost a card, I don't want to answer that query, or they're calling in for a password reset. I could have a bot do it. Traditionally, we've seen password reset queries in most service desks are about 15%. Lost cards are about 8%. If you look at it from a BFSI standpoint, people who have lost their utility bill, in some cases you have RTI token, in some cases you have other stuff. They all account for about 10%. I would rather eliminate it. I'm optimizing my business if I can eliminate that query. If I eliminate that query, I'm delivering what I'm supposed to deliver as a workforce professional of year-on-year benefit. And how do I do it? I have to leverage a bot, a conventional artificial intelligence, NLP bot, or a chat bot, or an email bot. And I look at reducing HT for an agent. I say I need to do wrap notes, and I want to document wrap notes. I will deploy an RPA, a robotic process automation, which would actually go out and take care of which they can do it in multiple ways. You can use voice to text to keep capturing what the information is that was discussed. analytically make a synopsis of it and document it onto the CRM. It can be automated. It shaves off about 20% time. Uh, if you look forward further, if I go out and deploy messaging to the full, I don't need multiple channels. I can address most all channels at one shot. Uh, you can do predictive analysis of saying, why is the customer calling? If I start delving into that, I can start doing skill-based routing basis that. Precision routing used to always be part of WFM forte of saying, who do I match? We used to do it through a quartile analysis, figure out who's doing well on what queries. However, today I can actually predict why is the customer even calling, because I have the upstream and downstream view of what the customer is. I may have the view of an integrated customer persona coming in, customized customer persona for maybe a Shiva who's coming in, and I may already know why is he calling in for, and give it to the right agent. And it's happening. It's not that it's not happening. Does that answer how this journey happens?
Great, Sridhar. There's one more question on the TCS standpoint. Is there any example that you want to share, or kind of where through WFM, where organization is able to create kind of impact, or maybe great customer experience, and because of which uh, the impact is something that has really been great, and that's what is way to look at.
So, TCS itself is an example of how workforce management has multiple avatars. The last year happened to be shaving off 25 to 30% revenue for everybody. That's a given. Everybody saw it. But did TCS go out and post a higher number? It actually went to the top of that value chain while optimizing and actually gaining more customers. We hit a much higher PE, and that happened at every level. It happened at being able to move into a secure borderless workforce, which is what we created within a week of pandemic lockdowns hitting. There was minimal disruption. There was a lot of deflection to digital stuff. If I look at it for queries that you don't have the agents, but at least get that query solved. So there were self-heal solutions that we ended up deploying. There was self-service. So it was on the fly. And that is what contributed to ensuring that whether it was IT or whether it was BPS, everything went through. Does that help? We've had a maximum growth on all our transformation levers, driven on the need to get to manage our workforce and our customers last year. I'll be candid about it.
Great, Sridhar. Sridhar, there's one last question. What has been the motivation for you to move from WFM to customer experience role?
I never moved.
How are you enjoying this?
I never moved. Honestly, I will, I actually was doing exactly what I was doing. This is something maybe I will repeat it. If you are able to see my screen, just hold on. I think we did the same mistake. Just a sec. Okay, you able to see the screen? Is something visible?
Yes, Sridhar.
Yeah. If you look at it, what was I doing in workforce? What I've been doing for 25 years, literally. Whether it was analytics, whether it was forecasting, whether it was demand scheduling, real-time management, planning, compliance, adherence to plans, time attendance, precision routing, dialer management, recording interactions so that we can analyze it, figure out what we need to do, automating quality assurance, stuff that it moved from WFO to WFM became WFO about 10, 12 years back, rather 14 years back. WFO became WEM about 6 years back. All your players, whether it's a NICE or a Variant or a Genesis, everybody is here now, which is primarily those tools. And are they produce? And when I did all this, I was already driving bots. I said I needed an NLP IVR to curtail some of the calls. I have at a bank where there was a wait time for an hour and even for what do you call, the bank was in that bad a shape, even for a lost card. So one of the first things that happened was deploy a bot, taking the lost card information, let the bot do the job, eliminated 8% of the calls gone through the festive season. Uh, in-app chat, and these things we kept used to keep working on it. Back office, we used to always want desktop analytics. We used to always work on that before. It is nothing but transformation. It's what you leverage it for. Transformation was just progressive if you look at it. And candidly, this has been going on for me for the last 9 years. The role changed only this year as far as TCS is concerned. But even in 2006, I used to head operational excellence for a company called Sendent. We used to do all this then, with not, of course, the technology that we had. I think it's just a name. In the end, it's always been about employee experience, delivering customer experience. Does that answer the question, Shiva? Does that provide why, what, how?
Yes, it's pretty much. Pretty much. And since we have some more time, probably we can have some more questions from the audience. Audience, like we have a next panel discussion is going to start from 2 o'clock. We have some time with Sridhar. If there's anything that you want to ask Sridhar, we could leverage his time.
I guess they're still absorbing what I said. Maybe I spoke Greek. I'd have to speak Latin.
Yes. Yes, I mean, if you could just simplify it, because putting yourself in WFMs, maybe the manager or maybe the scheduler or like as a forecaster or maybe planner, how to really create.
I will simplify that. What is the primary goal KRA for a WFM resource? What used to be the KRA? What is? I need to first KRA used to be, how do I deliver a 5% reduction in cost of service every year? Is that, I mean, I don't have a voice for people to hear it, but is that something that Shiva, you would agree is something that we need to keep looking at? That's a primary KRA for a WFM professional, right? While meeting all the SLAs. The SLAs need to get met, and year on year we need to keep reducing the cost with the actual volume increasing. That's the primary KRA. Now, how do I really, what do I leverage to do it? The common ones that we talk about is, we schedule right, we forecast right to schedule people at the right time so that we have people running at maximum occupancy. This is all very the old ways, the methods that we used. However, if I go and deflect the demand, if I can go give that guidance saying that, I have people free at this time, could you run whatever campaigns you want to run to keep acquiring more at this time? Give that guidance back. We are doing that. We were already doing that. We were already saying that, can I on the IVR put in an option so that I can route this call to the right people? And when I'm doing that, the next step is saying on that IVR, is there a query that can get resolved at that level itself? You bring in automatic speech recognition so that you move away from a DTMF based IVR to an NLP based IVR. You can actually even either route it to a bot or route it to a message that needs to go back to the customer. Maybe the customer is just calling for a credit limit on a bank account, or he's calling in for a utility bill. If the IVR can listen to it, today we use ASR and we say, here you go. We've shot the bill off to you. We send it off. If you want, we move that call in a visual IVR to a phone if required. The guy's calling and say, you know what, just click on the link that I've just sent to you. You'll be able to look at it. There's a contiguous process possible today. I don't want that call coming in. That's the primary KRA I'm meeting. Also, if I just meet SLA meeting SLA is a given. However, just meeting SLA, does it ensure that the business that in outsourcing or in insourcing, do we really meet the business demand? What does the business want to do? Today, especially with COVID hitting, we want to retain our customers that we have. Even if we lose, we want them to come back if required at a certain stage. There's a life cycle we want to follow. The customer journey map was already revolving around us. How do I do it? I use predictive intelligence to ensure that the best agent is getting to address a particular call. Routing happens to be a WFM skill, and that routing can be enabled through something called predictive intelligence on a call or workload. Proactive outreach is what I need to plan for to eliminate any kind of workload, whether it's or proactively being able to sell something. What is the next best action? Isn't that how we will end up contributing more to a business? Does that provide a view of what you asked? What anybody asked?
It makes sense, Sridhar. Absolutely.
I mean, there are multiple perspectives to it. It's up to one of saying, am I, as workforce management, we keep a business running. Is that so? That's something I'm sure everybody will agree with, saying that, yeah, makes sense, right? If we are keeping a business running, then what is it that we really do? We just take care of workforce? Is that the only thing that we really take care of? Or is there more beyond workforce that we need to move? We take care of workforce primarily to address the customer. We are taking care of a customer in the end, actually, in reality, right? And if we don't worry about the customer experience, then how does workforce management help in any way? Workforce management has no play if the customers are going to go. If I mean, if I look at it, they may be pointed saying that no, KPIs that are there. We look at employee satisfaction, employee productivity, employee wellness. So there are two sets of KPIs: employee KPIs and the customer KPIs. So we look at employee satisfaction. There are 12 different ones: satisfaction, productivity, wellness for an employee, retention of the employee, recruitment of the employee, engagement of the employee, the employee net promoter score, because employee absenteeism, vacation days used, internal promotions that they're getting or not, employee rating websites, customer ratings for the employee. However, all this is done only to do what? To manage percentage of interactions abandoned, average time in queue, average speed of answer, the handling time, the first call resolution, customer satisfaction. It's a progressive path that, why are you taking care of the employees? I go back to Angela. I just love she came from Apple. You have to build a relationship with your employees first to build a relationship with your customers. So that is the progressive path. And today in the gig economy, it's even more important that we leverage these new age solutions to be able to deliver what we want. And does that help?
It makes sense. Absolutely.
It's become even more difficult to forecast, by the way, today. As workforce guys, the digital channels have made it so much more difficult to forecast. And it just does, and forecasting is never about forecasting a volume. It's about forecasting the customer experience in the end. Why do I forecast SLA? Oh, sorry, average speed of answer, thinking that that's going to keep my customer happy. But is that what's going to keep my customer happy? What am I trying to achieve? A metaphor to look at is customer experience has become so important that today in the Fortune 500, the average lifespan about 10 years back used to be 70 years for a company. Today, it is a 12-year lifespan that people said, except the top 10 in the Fortune 500, everybody else is literally burning out in 12 years. I believe so. Anything else you think, Shiva, Partha, or anybody else from the audience? I know I've taken a complete deviation of what we are speaking about, but I believe that that's the route to go. That's the path to take.
And customer experience is a mandatory skill for the WFM professionals in the current situation and also going forward, right? And I think this is one of these skills, especially for as a WFM leader and also to the manager or any profession. I think they should keep it in their mind and work not just like my job. It's just a fulfillment or just to work on planning or forecasting or whatever, right, Sridhar? This is one of
Yeah,
the
so it is. Sorry to interrupt you, Shiva. forgive my, I'm not talking over you, but employee experience, will you agree, is a primary KRA for WFM?
No.
Isn't that, you agree, right?
Yeah.
Why do I want an employee to be having the right experience? In order to deliver customer experience, right? It is motivation. How do I contribute to that customer? So now, if that is a progressive path, is just delivering. If how do I keep an employee happy? If I have to keep an employee happy, I'm going to make his job easier, which means I will end up deploying assistance for him, maybe in the form of a digital twin, so that the employee can actually answer a query without a problem. Look at it this way. Suppose, and let's look at it from a contact center perspective. If a call's coming in, if there is a live translation, speech to text happening, while the customer is speaking, we are able to read the emotion the customer is coming in. We are able to actually get a objective transcript of what is the customer looking for. You hook it up to your knowledge system, which can pull up that particular knowledge article or knowledge for the agent to be empowered to handle that query better. Now, isn't that what I have to resolve as I mean, doesn't it automatically start falling into a workforce space? You may have specialists doing it. You can't have the same guy doing everything now. But that's an indicator of how do I manage that interaction? Does that tie back employee experience to customer experience? And without technology, I cannot really do NBA. Next best action is what I need to get delivered every time. It is not about the quality. It is not about just managing the interaction. It is the quality of the experience that's going to keep us afloat and our customers afloat, which means either we do it or we get the right function to keep doing it. And workforce guys actually know the pulse of the business. They are looking at every demand. They are the strongest placed to really say, what does the end customer want? Where am I going wrong? Any questions? Any other thought?
Do you have any more questions for Sridhar? You could unmute yourself and or you could raise your hand to ask any further questions, Sridhar. I think this has been a great perspective. I see that today's discussion after Murli, what I see, Sridhar, is yesterday we talked about being an influencer. So to become an influencer, we need to really create an experience, right? It's like
Yep.
we in fact in the hackathon, when we have invited hundreds of WFM professionals to participate, all about we talked about creating experience with a design thinking approach. Right? It's all about today's world is creating kind of experience, which is where if we had value to the business and value to the customers.
Yep.
I see that. I think
I hope yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I see that TCS is really, like matured and also like, transformed to the greater extent in terms of creating experience. And that
It's not
too,
just TCS. If you look at Accenture, it is a competitor for us. I know, right? We acknowledge it, we know it. They've created something called BX. I don't know if you folks have heard that. It's called business of experience. I would never call experience to be a business of experience because it is an emotional thing. It is a emotional intelligence. It's an emotional quotient. So, however, they managed to create that, and it's a strong point that they are working on, which is called BX. It's that's their theme when they talk about any customer management today. Not just and everybody else. Everybody is doing it, and it's getting powered by the WFM intelligence. The MIS guys actually produce that whole thing, right, for a decision to be taken at the next level.
absolutely.
I hope I left some people with the right thoughts to think what else they can do more. The intent is to keep expanding on that piece, right? Keep expanding with whatever information I have, which is as WFM, we are actually privy to the entire length and breadth of the information for the business. And that business exists for a customer, nobody else.
Sridhar, if you could just summarize in a few minutes about your customer experience piece, especially uh, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 points, or maybe takeaways for the audience to summarize that what is in it for them to be on this or be on it and adapt and implement and make this as like way of business as usual for the WFM folks who are there in the audience pool.
I would actually go on and say something which is today, the reason managing employees to as workforce management professionals used to work very well in something called the shareholder capitalism market, which is where it was before. The term shareholder capitalism is I believe you'll be able to look it up. Today, we are not shareholder capitalism anymore. Capitalism still exists. It has moved to stakeholder capitalism. Brands today, especially with COVID happening, have actually had to redefine their value proposition. Not just for COVID, there were some that moved it before. They become more human-centered designs, which primarily means that whatever we do, it's human value centered. Whatever we do to optimize that experience, make it better, is technology enabled and social good. Human value centers will get you empathetic. You got to have empathy. You got to have the privacy. You've got to be adaptable to the multitude of people, inspire in the right way. It's got to be personalized, and it's got to promote reciprocity. It's a two-way process. Technology, if you look at it, it's come to AR, VR, advanced machine learning, connected things. It's the connected minds. People are just connected. World Wide Web has just got people connected. You just can't escape it. And social good. If any and every company says, so they're doing something or other to see how do I bring my carbon footprint down. Workforce management actually contributes to bringing that carbon footprint down by optimizing work. There are a few companies I know where WFM has a target of saying, how do I get, what is the carbon footprint reduction that I could do this year with optimizing the processes or managing it better. 4 things that really drive the business and workforce management ties back is, it has to contribute to enhance brand value. The second point is increase in, the bottom line, which workforce always has had a say in. Net positive effects on the stakeholder sentiments. How do I drive it? We got to get involved to drive it. Does that help? Single line, if you look at it, customer delight at every opportunity, human or digital, that is only possible through transformation of the goals workforce management has and needs to deliver to. WFM plans. If they don't plan, it's not happening. Did I lose you?
Makes sense.
Okay.
Absolutely. Sridhar.
Okay.
I think that is a great takeaway, Sridhar. That's what I see, that there's a great takeaway from your keynote. And can we share this presentation to people if they?
I would love to see people shifting their focus and saying, what I do, does it impact customer experience?
Absolutely.
So I guess we give some time back to people on their calendars.
Sure.
Wonderful. And I'm always there, so feel free. If anything comes, just pass it through. I'll be happy to assist.
Certainly, Sridhar. And we will have your judging session in the evening, after 5:30. So
Okay.
looking forward to having you. Please stay back with us. And now we have next session. Before that, we have some time. Probably we will engage maybe with some conversation like how International WFM Professionals Day can be celebrated, and how each one of them can share the messages across to celebrate, and also what's your take on this, Sridhar? Like on the day of celebration. I mean, today some insights that I want to hear from you, that where when people join into WFM, whether they like it or not, eventually they just start loving it, or if they get passionate, is when they can be successful in their profession, right? Especially in WFM, since the role is evolving, and want to share anything on that perspective, like how has been your journey in WFM, and so long, that close to 3 decades, and what is the lessons learned, and probably what is that you have a message to the audience, especially as a WFM professional, how they can really fall in love with their job, and maybe to their role, and get passionate.
WFM is only possible by passion. It is my reason to take WFM was, so that I could take a break when I want. However,
Hmm.
reality is it never happens.
Hmm.
The fact of the matter is, somebody asked me, why do you want to get this planning and
Yeah, was-
analysis? I said, I want to take a break when I want to take a break. And 1 week into the job, and I was like, bloody hell, I really can't take a break when I want to take a break. There's so much depending on me. It's not about one person, it's about a group of people. And if I mess up, my business goes for a toss. So the wrong, I interesting decision that was, but I said, if you don't get, for us, there's no choice. Uh, we start off from whichever area of WFM, we eventually get sucked into that bigger business picture. You have to get strategic. You are contributing to the bigger advantage. The reason is, anything that you do impacts a group of people that you're looking at. And whenever numbers come into play, they actually drive the outcome for a business. Does that,
Absolutely.
right? Because you're not going to be responsible for your own work. It's not going to be one-off incident. It's going to actually impact the business.
The role is very crucial and a very important role in the organization.
Sounds good. Thanks a ton for everybody helping me on this. I keep learning from the people that I work with, and the work that we do.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Thanks.
Sridhar. Thanks, Sridhar, for taking your time out, and
Thanks,
so
partner.
a
Yeah.
great share and a great perspective that you shared. How WFM folks should become
Two
creating customer.
objectives. We always used to look about cost. We always used to look at employee experience. That employee experience has just got added with that cost to saying customer experience. You cannot just survive on employee experience and cost. You got to say, what I do, does it help customer experience or not? It's just become 2 to 3. Nothing complicated, very simple. The primary KRA of cost, employee, and customer.
Beautifully mentioned. Yeah, I think these are all like natural skills that WFM folks should have, and also kind of DNA, right? What do we say that you should think customer in their mind and work, and when they achieve customer experience, right, and everything will fall in picture, fall in place, right? Will suddenly be able to achieve the cost and also the rest of the delivery that we tend to achieve. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Thank
Great.
you.
Yeah, thanks, Sridhar, for taking your time out, and please stay back. And it has been immense learning for me. And you brought in kind of new element to WFM today, because everyone has been talking about even in other forums where you're just talking about the tactical issues that only scheduling, shrinkage, forecasting, and only. But we have been able to talk about
Why do we
thought leadership.
forecast? Shiva, sorry for this, but why do we forecast? Why do we schedule? It is to service a customer. It is to provide an experience for the customer, right? It is right. That has to be done. And that is going to take you to the next level. What is that end goal? End goal is customer experience. I think nobody just said it, but that's what I guess everybody wanted to say. Even if they said scheduling, I schedule to ensure customers' experience is right. Cool. Thank you.
Great thoughts, Sridhar. Really been a great learning and enriching experience sharing, and really learned a lot from TCS perspective, and kind of examples that you have shared. Has been a great learning.
Always
Thank
happy
you.
to do so.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Looking forward to seeing you again during the International WFM Professionals Day at 5. Please join us there, and anyway, you're going to be there in judging.
I'm here now, so I'm pretty much here.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Happy to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sridhar.
Yeah.
Bye.